let's go right ahead and go into the first segment. Again, United States, they played Brazil in the quarterfinal matchup, and they ended up destroying them in true American fashion. Everybody sort of knew that the United States was going to end up coming out on top in this game. The real question was the question was just by how much. I mean, they won by 122 to 87. The game was never close, in this matchup, and it was the only game that ended up having a 100 points, a team in 100 points. Let me say that again. Jesus Christ. This is the only game where a team scored 100 or more points in the entire quarterfinals. Even the game that went into overtime between Serbia and Australia not a single one of those teams ended up scoring 100 points. So the fact that the United States was able to score 100 should be, a little bit of a statement game, and it also goes to show, just how well the men's team has just been playing together, along with, that the chemistry is just, it's getting that much better, and being the only team to score 122 points, it also shows, that gap and just how much more skilled the men's team for the United States was compared to the Brazilian team. Now, not saying that everybody on Brazil played bad, but, for the most part, you need everybody to play a lot better than how everybody played in this game if you had any chances of beating the United States. Even though, I keep saying, there are some players on the United States that aren't really playing that well, like Jason Tatum in this previous matchup. Most of the time, these performances, it doesn't really mean that much because you have so many other talented players to pick up what you're not picking up. Pick up the slack whenever you're not picking up that slack. For example, Steph Curry, we thought Steph Curry was going to be a very, a dominant scorer throughout the United States in their run, but he hasn't really been that much of a dominant scorer, but it hasn't affected the United States in the slightest. Now, the other game that ended up happening yesterday was France versus Canada. Now, the game concluded once I think I was on maybe the fifth segment where it finally concluded, so I couldn't really cover this, the final part of this game, but the game was basically, it was never close. This matchup between France and Canada, it was really bad for the Canadian team because it's they were never close throughout the entire game. It was the entire game was basically a blowout, and it really backfired for the Canadian team. It should also be noted that Dylan Brooks, a member of the Canadian team, right, he previously said that the Canadians would dethrone the United States. He also said that LeBron was old. He also said that Kevin Durant was old. And he basically, he talked a lot. Let's just put it that way. But the real quote was, LeBron is old, KD is old, Steph is a choker, and Ant can't stop SGA. We'll get the gold medal and beat Team USA. That was Dylan Brooks's, opinion on Canada's chances of winning the gold against Team USA. So he was very, very confident, and despite all of this confidence, he definitely did not play like it. I mean, he was arguably the reason why the Canadian team lost. You could make that argument. I mean, he only scored 2 points, was 1 for 9 from the field, and 1 for 6 from inside the arc, as well as 0 for 3 from 3. And really, it talking like that and then putting up this kind of performance in an elimination, in a winner-go-home game, this is exactly the reason why so many people dislike Dylan Brooks. Because he talked the talk, but could he walk the walk? No. It's not the same thing as Noah Lyles, where Noah actually, he talked the talk and he walked the walk. This man right here, he did only one, but he didn't do the other. And the only player that really played well against the French, towards the conclusion of the game, because now I can actually talk about it, the only player that really played well was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The rest of the players on the Canadian team did not play well at all. Jamal Murray in this elimination game had 7 points, was 3 for 13 from the field and 1 of 4 from 3. I don't understand how every single time he's just a baller against the Lakers, but when he's playing against any other team, especially throughout the majority of these Olympics, he's not the same player. Like, you look at his shooting splits when he plays LA compared to playing against any other team, especially in the postseason, the difference is staggering. Throughout the entirety of the Olympics, Jamal Murray was only averaging 6 points per game on 29% from the field and 14% from 3, which is disgustingly bad for someone with Jamal Murray's stature. Disgustingly bad. But that was really like that was the biggest surprise to me when I looked at the box scores for this game, because like the game was never close, and I could see why the game was never close, because all of the NBA players and all of the talent that the team was bragging about and that they had just let them down when it mattered most. And for being a flawless team, they haven't lost a single game up until this point. This is very disappointing. And, this exit is just, I'm not going to say it's going to mark the rest of these players, because, a lot of people are going to forget about these results of the Olympics very soon. But I'm like, this is disappointing. This is extremely disappointing coming in from the Canadian team. So, especially like when you think about it, I mean, that was probably the weakest group in the entire tournament. Like Canada's group, the weakest group probably in the entire Olympics. Now, on the United States, we actually have 3 players of the game. LeBron James is obviously going to make this list almost every single time. 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 9 assists. Just a fantastic player overall. And Anthony Edwards ended up scoring... Oh, wait, why is his face not there? I don't know, why is his face not there? Hold on just one second. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and fix that real quick, because I don't know why his face isn't there. His face was there... before I even started, but that's weird. But regardless, he ended up scoring 17 points and recorded 5 rebounds as well as 2 assists. I'm just gonna have to deal with the fact that his face isn't there for now. We'll fix that in the future. But again, I don't know why his face wasn't there. It was there before. And with this performance as well, like in this recent game, I don't have Kevin Durant up here, but he did end up playing some minutes despite the fact that he was, coming off the bench. And in this matchup, Kevin Durant, he actually ended up breaking the United States points record. So now he has the most points in United States basketball history when you count him and the women's basketball, because, women's basketball also counts as a United States basketball program. Victor against, the Canadians, he didn't really do that well in the scoring department, but he was there for the rebounds and he was there for the steals, and he was being more of a facilitator in this game than anything else, because throughout like the entirety of the game he was basically getting double teamed. Like it wasn't a very good, it wasn't a very good shooting performance for him, and they haven't really needed him to be a monster scorer in these matchups. They just needed him to, just play his role, and they've been able to win rather comfortably. Now, another player that played really well in the United States was Devin Booker. His face is showing. I don't know what's up with that, but he ended up scoring 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Joel Embiid, he also played pretty well against the Brazilian team. I mean, it's about time. He ended up scoring 14 points, 5 for 6 from the field, 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. Very impressive. And it should also be noted that on Brazil, there was this one player, he ended up scoring 30 points. Bruno Caboclo. Again, forgive me if I completely messed up that last name. But he ended up scoring 30 points on 13 of 20 shooting and was able to record 6 rebounds along with that and 1 assist along with that. So this is a very, pretty solid game. However, most of the points, they did come in garbage time because most of the game was spent in garbage time. So take with that what you will. I mean, 30 points in an Olympic matchup is still very impressive, but still, take with that what you will. And those are the results of the matchups. And as I showed you guys before in the previous bracket that I was with the previous tournament bracket that I showed you, I'll just go ahead and bring it up right now just because, why not? I said I wasn't going to, change around anything. And so far, I haven't need to change around anything. I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the graphic in case none of you guys have seen it before. But so far, this is how the tournament standings are looking for the men's basketball. And so I'm going to go ahead and, continue updating the graphic as the games conclude. But again, as I mentioned before on the previous podcast, if you guys haven't watched that video, I have France going to the finals as well as the United States, and then Serbia and Germany playing for third place. So just a little reminder on that. And now we will go ahead and go into this break, and then we will go into the second segment where I talk about Lauri Markkanen finally signing with an extension with the Jazz. So again, I'll just be right back after this short break to talk about the free agent signing or the free agent re-signing, however you want to call it. So be sure to stay tuned for that right after this short break. I will be right back.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the